Welcome to the Quran Motivation. The shocking journey of Samuel Shropshire from pastor to Islamic preacher. Samuel was born in the United States in a Christian family and does not know the Islamic faith.
Most of what I had heard was extremely negative. In America, our news channels boosted their on-air ratings by regularly sensationalizing breaking news of terrorism. Every 30 minutes, one witnessed horrific scenes of bombings and bloodshed and murder, often one Muslim group fighting against another Muslim group.
One day he received an invitation from Dr. Safi Kaskas living in Saudi Arabia.
Dr. Kaskas wanted to produce a new, easy-to-read American translation for the next generation of young Americans.
Since Samuel could not speak or read the Arabic language, his job was to check the English to make certain new interpretations of the Quran. Samuel knows he has a great task to be done. His ethics make him read the Quran again and again. To translate makes it easier, but in his readings, he finds something else.
I was shocked as I read to find that Jesus, peace be upon him, was often mentioned in the Quran. Jesus was presented as one of the greatest prophets. And even the story of the virgin birth was mentioned there. Many of the miracles that Jesus had done, I found them in the Quran. There were even a couple of Jesus miracles mentioned in the Quran that were not mentioned in the Bible.
But as a Christian pastor, Samuel was stuck in his belief. Dr. Safi set up a flat near his office. He was living alone in that room. After his work, he felt lonely. He used to sit on his balcony in the evening and look at the nearby mosque. He was curious about how Muslims pray because he used to see men and women going to the mosque and leaving the mosque. Children playing outside the mosque, rich and poor going at the same time and talking to each other with smiles. Samuel's heart belongs to that mosque and he wants to go there, but he does not dare to go there.
A few months later, I got up the courage to walk down the street and to knock on the door of Taqwa Mosque. Now, nobody knocks on the door of a mosque. Normally, they just open the door and they walk right in. But I was not sure how I'd be received, so I stood there knocking until someone came to the door. That person simply said, "May I help you?" I said, "My name is Samuel. I'm a Christian from the United States. Is it okay if I come inside?" And that man, Shahada, who was the caller to prayer, he reached out and he hugged me and he said, "Of course, come in."
He sat down at the last line of the mosque to check what was going on there. He saw men bowing on the floor with the imam, the one who led prayer.
I had little knowledge about what was happening, but I felt God's presence in that mosque. And the men of Taqwa Mosque were so friendly to me. After 3 days, I asked Shafiq if he could teach me the first surah of the Quran, Al-Fatiha. So I started comparing them with an English translation I had, and I realized that there was nothing in Al-Fatiha that was inconsistent with Christian teaching. There I read the encouraging words that God was the most merciful, the distributor of mercy and forgiveness. My heart was being strangely touched by the words of the Quran and the love displayed by the men of Taqwa Mosque. Dr. Sadiq Malki would later drive me to the Islamic Education Foundation in Al-Hamra, neighborhood of Jeddah, where I said Al-Shahada.
Samuel's story was the perfect example of Allah's words. Allah guides whom He wills. Hey race is Samuel's message to the world.
According to Islam, we're all equal. There's none above another. There are scholars, but their role is educational. As for the relationship with God, it's personal, it's direct. There is one true God who is unlike any other being. He is neither born nor does he give birth. He has neither spouse nor offspring. Nothing is comparable to him. He's all powerful. He knows everything perfectly. The Quran, which also contains God's revelations, is still intact in its original form.